Hey everybody, it is Deanna, Sassy Girl Entrepreneur. Thank you for joining us. First off, I apologize for being late. We actually were live. Sheriff and I were doing our thing, trying out a platform that I had tried once before and thought I'd give it another shot. Well, that didn't work out. It didn't work out the way that I planned, and I guess good reason for leaving that platform. So I am back here on StreamYard, which is the platform I typically use. So, Sharis, thank you for hanging with me through the chaos.
Please, welcome to 2020. I mean, come on.
Right. And we're talking about innovation in a crisis, so we are innovating.
We had to show an example of it.
Right, exactly. So anyhow, today we're talking about innovation in a crisis. I've got my friend Sharis here with me. Sharis has been on a number of times. She is the executive director of Shenango Valley Chamber of Commerce, and she is an amazing woman. You are doing so much for Shenango Valley, and it's great to sit back and watch everything that's happening there. And thank you for coming on today.
Absolutely. No, look, I'm just so happy to be able to talk with you, and I love when we have these conversations. Great ideas pop out of them, but also the opportunity to tout some of our amazing, innovative. Our businesses have taken a beating, and so many have just risen up and innovatively survived. Found ways to survive, and I'm just so impressed. So thanks for giving us a platform to talk about them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited to hear about some of the things that are happening in Shenango. I think that that is common, right? When crisis happens, when there is some big change, that's when you really start to see innovation. You really start to see, you have to see innovation, right? But you start to see like some really cool things come out of it.
Right.
For example, with the housing market, right? When the housing market crashed in 07 or 08, people were, money was lost. People were really trying to conserve, and they were, renting out rooms in a house, ride share. And that's like Airbnb and Uber came out of the dust of that. And now look at that. Right.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I had actually I was traveling heavily to Pittsburgh at that time for various like side gigs and things that we didn't even call them side gigs at the time. But one of the things that I noticed about Pittsburgh during that time is across the country, places like were just struggling, cities were struggling. Pittsburgh actually weathered that time period really well, and I will give it has to do with this whole area where we're located. Sharon is like smack between the middle of Pittsburgh and Cleveland, heart of the Rust Belt. Love the term, hate the term, but the reality is, to me, the term means innovation, because this area has gotten dealt the worst blow 20, 30, 40 years ago when steel mills went down, and we had no choice but to innovate to survive. So now it's like innovation or us. All right, I'm not making light of challenges, but this area, the Rust Belt, this region, we know how to innovate. We know how to survive.
I'm going to give you a hell yes to that.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Rust Belt's strong, baby. So,
being from Ohio, being right at Rust Belt, I'm going to agree 100% that, we know how to survive. We know how to fight. And there's so many other areas that do as well, but we've seen it firsthand.
We do. And this area sometimes gets that sort of like, oh, there's nothing happening here. There's not innovation here. Are you kidding? We have survivor innovation like none other. And, I'd like to see it become thriver innovation. And that's our goal as we start to grow and move forward. Of course, 2020 put everyone off a little bit, but we're hoping that from this we can keep, growing to thriving, not just surviving.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about a few things, but of course, both of our hearts, our passion lie with small businesses.
Huge.
And with that, like you said early on, 2020 has been tough for small businesses. With COVID and the changes, which was only supposed to be a few weeks, now, months into it, there's no sign of it stopping. Our small businesses really need our help and support. And this is what you've come on before, and we've really talked about small businesses and how you can help it. Now we're talking to the small business owner.
Yeah, right.
We're talking to everybody else. These are ways you can support small businesses. but this is for the small business owner.
Yeah.
You know, we want to share some strategies. Like, what do you do during this pandemic? How do you stay innovative? How do you be creative? And there are a number of ways to do that. I'm going to ask you first, have you seen in Shenango Valley, just to back it up a little, we talked about Airbnb and Uber.
Yeah.
Have you seen any businesses or startups maybe approach you with a really unique idea? Maybe if you have, you can't say it quite yet, but something that we didn't have before that's coming out of this.
Well, look, I don't say this lightly, and I'm not like exaggerating when I say an eighth of our members didn't even have websites. Like we're a little, we have the luxury and allure of being like a Mayberry, but we also struggle because we're a little bit like a Mayberry in this area, even behind Youngstown, when we're right next to Youngstown, in the sense of technology and virtual presence. So many have approached or brainstormed with the chamber, and I put them together with other members of ways to grow the virtual presence in an area that I still have some people even ask me what is electronic mail, and I'm like, that's email. But this is part of also the beauty of this lovely area is that people know everyone's name, but on the other hand, our virtual presence has been a challenge. So that's been some of there's some different things that have happened around that this year that everyone's, they have no choice. We had to get virtual presence going. We had to start selling different ways.
Yes, there is no choice. And I don't see that going away. I think one of the changes that we're going to see, even when this is done and things go back to quote unquote normal, right? Whatever that normal looks like, it won't be normal, but
we're not going to go back. We're going to go forward to our, and I know everyone hates the term new normal, but we're going to go forward to a better normal. Let's put it that way. I believe that. I have hope for that. So
right. I do too. I do too. I think what we're going to see though are more businesses allowing remote work.
Yes.
And work from home. And I don't know, I'm on the fence about the online education with schools.
Yeah.
I mean, I see both sides of it. I do believe that there may be some more parents that got a little taste of homeschooling that are going to grasp it and run with it, and there are others that
run away from it. Run away. No, yeah. run to it, run from it. Yeah.
But I think those two things are things we're going to see more of.
Yeah, there's going to be more iterations. I think in that case too, like just like the survival with businesses to get online, but with schools, I mean, educators, there's just no choice. They had to do that. So I think we're going to see some, right? So I think that's a teeny bit of just a little bit different where there's no choice there. I mean, honestly, if you're running a business, I don't think there's a choice to be online either, but some businesses might disagree. But when it comes to educating your children, there's no choice. So I am very hopeful that there'll be more iterations around that so that it just provides more opportunities for education in very unique ways.
Right. So let's start with some of the ways that businesses can really make some change. The first thing that I've got here is expand your market. So one of the things that I was thinking about when I was coming up with all this, of things I wanted to talk to you about and ask you is, people are shifting gears. We saw vodka companies making sanitizer. We saw home health care companies, some of them, right? Where they weren't able to actually get into the home for obvious reasons, that they started like off branching, right? And sanitizing homes as something extra. So I think expanding your market, what you may have done pre-COVID, right? Maybe you're adding an additional product or a service that wasn't there before. Have you seen any businesses that you are aware of?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I have been so impressed with our business community here. When it comes to, if you're going to talk expansion of services, one that really just bit the bullet and went hard was Cottage Gardens. And they are like a landscaping company, but that also sell plants and different things, beautiful little shops that we couldn't go to for a little while. Doggone if they didn't put everything online, which, in Cleveland, I mean, in New York or LA, they might be like, what? But I'm just saying for here, this was a big step. They put everything online so that people could order stuff and then they could just drive up, get the stuff loaded in their car and go. But then they also did other really cool things. Like, for example, they provide the flowers at our beautiful Beale Park, which is like the diamond in the center of our valley.
Yeah.
And like you could just, all right, I'm going to buy a flat of flowers for Beale Park. They'll plant them, but I could just do this nice community good and support Beal Park, just like pressing a button. And they got pictures, everything online. And it was one of the owners who just, I think a couple of the owners just went ahead, went hard and did it. And it was so impressive. And now, in the, now when everything eventually goes back or moves forward to whatever the new normal is, they'll now have this. So they'll also be making money now online, and as well as the typical where people come and visit. So
yes.
Yeah,
that kind of ties into our next one too, which is find different ways to deliver your product or service.
right.
So they really shifted and went online. And I really believe you made a comment earlier that not every business has to be online. You think that they are. Some businesses may argue with you on that. I might argue with them on that.
I think they've learned this year that they have to have some kind of virtual presence, even just a Facebook or just a whatever, but have something,
You absolutely do. You do need some, I mean, and first and foremost, a website.
Yes.
That I'm big in social media. I love social media and how it can help a small business owner at minimal cost, but we rent that space from Zuckerberg. So it's not owned. We don't own it. Our website we own. And people will go to your website. They still want to see your website. Yeah, they may come to Facebook first, right? But they're going to go to also to your website and check it out. So I think a website is definitely imperative.
It lends a credibility, like, okay, don't get me wrong, anyone could set up a website, but it's not that easy to set up a website. And when I'm saying like any like person who's not doing, there's maybe a shady person, but what I mean is it's actually a lot of work to set up a really good, solid website, and it lends credibility that your business is legit. Having a Facebook page is great. That doesn't mean that doesn't help. And some people just have Facebook pages, and that's fine. But if you want to go that extra mile, and also so no one steals like, say you have a certain name and then you don't have a website, they steal your name and open up a website, having them donate to some random thing or just whatever craziness, like this way you own your name, you own your brand,
Yes, absolutely what you just said. And I've seen that happen, where you couldn't get that business name. And I always say, I own my personal name, deannahins.com, as my URL. And I will continue because you never know if somebody actually can buy your name and create something. And it happens in politics. It may not happen to me. Nobody may not care, but in politics, it has happened.
Well, and you know what? And just to segue for a second, so many famous celebrities, like so many celebrities, as soon as they know they're having a child, they don't tell the name. They grab all the social media and save it and hold it because, shady people do stupid things with it. So, I mean, this is a thing. And my daughter, as soon as she understood all that, she grabbed her name. She knew it. And I was like, how do you know this stuff? I don't know, whatever. So
I love it. So back to the businesses, because we can easily get off. I heard this one thing and I thought it was really cool, was a gift shop.
Yeah.
And this gift shop pre-COVID was really had that personal touch. A lot of people who walked into the gift shop didn't know what they wanted to get, usually for a gift for someone, right? But they just weren't sure. So the owner would always spend a lot of time asking questions to find the perfect item. Well, now COVID hit, and when you have a website, right, you don't really get that personal touch most of the time.
Right.
It's just going on and looking. Well, what she did was actually created a Google form, and they could fill the form out, and she asked all the same questions that she would if you were in the store, so that she was able to still deliver that personal touch and find that perfect gift. And I thought that was a really cool, unique way to deliver a service in her, sense, that maybe COVID had stopped because you couldn't physically walk into the brick and mortar.
Right. I think because that, your constituents, your the people that purchase, your customers, how to keep them engaged. You have to, especially this year, people have had to be very creative in how they've done that. Hand delivering to the car, obviously with gloves and everything. Just, hey, how are you doing? Checking in here. For example, Maison de Savon did a really cool thing. They're a wonderful veteran-owned soap company in Shenango Valley, and they had it like if people would just check in on social media, they got a free bath bomb.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, check it in, baby. But I mean, like just little things, little touches.
Yeah.
when someone stopped or even just drove up and they checked in, they also got a free bath bomb. Well, people love to have a little free something, and it was an investment on our part, but it was to me a marketing investment and a connector investment. So
Right. I think that is a brilliant idea. I would never be checking in with bath bombs, whether I was there or not. I'd be like,
I know.
What a cool way to get your business name out there by checking in. That's awesome. And then it shows so many check-ins too when all this is over down the road. So
it's a win-win-win.
Really smart.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be, they definitely have an investment, right, with the bath bombs.
Oh, sure.
But for other businesses that maybe don't have the money to invest in something like that, or they don't have the bath bomb to hand out, there's other ways of being creative. There are other things that you may be able to provide that that you normally, that wouldn't cost you anything. Maybe it is like free balls at the hitting range, or
absolutely
something along that way that doesn't really cost anything out of your pocket, but people would like to do.
Right. And even if unfortunately, and I'm going to say, even if it costs a little bit, there's another cost going on where people aren't able to shop or visit your store. So a lot of businesses have just gone the extra mile and done coupons or different things to just not only get the business, but for future reference business. Because at the end of the day, hopefully when we get through this, you're going to have people who remember the good things that you did, or the little ways that you helped connect, and they'll come back and support you because they remembered you went the extra mile. Right. Or in this case, 10 miles, but
Yeah, no, I agree. Some other changes that we've seen as far as delivering products is realtors.
Yes.
And the virtual home tours.
Yeah.
Instead of open houses. Now they're virtually, or I've seen of even some businesses that will FaceTime and take you through to look at the product or talk to you about the product, right?
Right.
Instead of physically being there. So it's kind of cool to see some of the unique ways that people are changing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We literally just had a couple who reached out to the chamber from Florida who were looking at some drone shots and different things online of homes because they were going to move here. But that's one thing I also want to say to people. Like, for example, Thelma's Sports Nook, we have DoorDash and we have Grubhub now, but some places started just to do their own delivery. Thelma's did that towards the beginning, when the beginning of the panic hit. And then when we started to have more people allowed to go into restaurants, they didn't do it as much, but then they brought it back because they realized that, the ability to deliver is going to be a huge deal. That's not going to go away. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, post-COVID, I still like 2 hours to sit in a restaurant or an hour to sit. I'd rather just take it home. Whether there's a pandemic out there or not, it's time saving. I was doing this last fall. And so I would encourage anyone who's doing delivery or takeout to really still continue to promote that, because work life hasn't changed that much in that sense. People still are, they're going to be preferring to deliver, take home. So if you're coming up with some innovation now, don't necessarily think, okay, I don't have to do it anymore. Just keep growing into it and seeing where it takes you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Keep pushing through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, with Thelma, it's like they're delivering, and they brought back that delivery, and they also provided like these $5-6 meals for a long time, and they're $6 meals right now, super great. Where you get these prices that are just so good, and they're being, that how are they making a ton of money, but they're trying to be supportive of the community. And maybe there's some food insecure, and that's a good price point. But also, it's a way to drum up business. I mean, it gets both. Yeah. So there's that innovation, and innovation can cost a little. You have to invest a little. Sometimes you maybe not making as much of a profit, but then it gets you to that next level. And Thelma's is going to be one of those that they're doing some really great things that way. So
very cool. That's neat. That's neat. The other thing is collaboration during this time, right? Of crisis or panic. Some small businesses, how do you survive? How do you become innovative? And you can do this by collaborating. And I know you've seen a lot of collaboration in
Yes.
Shenango Valley.
Oh, I have, and I'm so, and again, that's another thing that's not going to, that shouldn't, and it's not, I don't think is going to go away after post-COVID is, so for example, like Lindy's at the Beach, they connected to like Beauty Barn Maine and other hair salons to help support each other during this time.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to make lemonade out of lemons because this, there's some people who've gone through some really crappy stuff right now, but the reality is they've connected in ways that they might not have if without this need going on. Now they help, they're cross-promoting each other, supporting each other, sharing some of the challenges, seeing how did you solve it, how did I solve it, and now they have this group of the hair salons in our area working together, supporting each other, which is freaking amazing. I mean, it makes me so happy. And then we have like again Maison de Savon, and then there's these two sisters, Jennifer Lopez, believe it or not, Jennifer Lopez and Jessica Minnick. She just got married. She's Jennifer Lopez, and they created a Shenango Valley takeout page. And so, and Maison de Savon created a Shenango Valley retail page, basically promoting restaurants, and on the retail page promoting small business. Now, the Maison de Savon, their focus is their business, but they were like, we can help others too, and they created this page to help others. So there's a lot of this selflessness that we're seeing right now too. Of Lindy's at the Beach, other hair salons, they could be like, no, I need business, forget them. No, they came together, they worked together, and now they're all going to be better, the better for it. Which is amazing. So yeah, I'm really proud.
Collaborate out there, people. It's huge. It really is.
It is,
and it's so important. Like you said earlier, not just during COVID, but all the time. It's important that we all come together.
Yeah.
The last one, stay connected.
Yeah.
You've got to stay connected with your customers.
Yes.
On some level. Oops. My phone on silent. I'm sorry.
Whatever. We're
stay
good.
Connected, right? And
yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you about some of the businesses and what they're doing to stay connected with their customers. But, ways that you can stay connected, email, right? You're going to hear me talk about two things.
Yes.
Website and your email, because this is real estate that you own as a small business.
Yes.
As much as I love social media, you rent that space. So your email is a way to stay connected with those customers. Let them know what's going on. What has changed? What are you offering different? What's happening. Stay connected via email with them, and then update your website, which we mentioned a little earlier, right? If you are doing their delivery or curbside pickup, let them know that. Let them share that on your website. Make sure people know that. What are some things that you've seen about the way businesses are staying connected with their customers?
Yeah, they've been very creative. Some of them have offered these like unique specials or opportunities for different demographics of their constituents or their clientele, and then it helps. And it helps like grow that specific part of their clientele, and then also connect to others. Like for example, like Web Winery has been doing some amazing, crazy sales. Not just of their really cool like their wine slushies, which I think in April everyone was drinking Web Winery wine slushies to get through. I don't know. I just think that was happening. But one of the things like they've done like teacher sales of wine, their bottles of wine, teacher sales. They'll pick different demographics, veterans, this, that, to just do seasonally, and so they help like focus on certain demographics, get them extra attention there, probably get them extra following in that demographic, and then they do other ones. And then Di Lorenzo's did a really cool thing at Easter where they did, they're known for their really great sugar cookies, frosted for sprinkles. And so they did these like, you can do Easter egg hunts. So they did these really cool like cookies where they had the frosting, the sprinkles, and people could decorate their own. But it was a way to reach out to the family demographic, and so stay connected, and it helped families feel like there's some normalcy. So they're using this. Isn't it great? I know. I was like,
that is really a great idea. I like that.
I bought like 10, and I was just giving them out to everyone I knew had kids because I was just like,
such a neat idea. Yes,
it was. And there's a way. I know that says it may not seem like that. Maybe that's not email, which would be more traditional, but it's a way to connect to your constituents. Creatively.
Absolutely. If you're able to connect with them in a close proximity, then that's always the best, right?
Absolutely.
Being able to do that. Sometimes you can't because of COVID restrictions, or sometimes your client base is just, it reaches out further than than your next door. So no, I love that idea.
Well, and then we have a Hope Center for Arts and Technology, and they focus on the community, and also like some of our youth that are at risk, and they have like this wonderful pottery studio where they can come in and for free like just work in the pottery studio. Well, they really couldn't during this time, so they did a lot of like Facebook Lives of just people doing different arts, and their instructors doing different versions of their art and things that they're offering, so you could actually follow along or stay connected in that way too. And again, being very creative in how you connect what your business does to the community. So I've been really, really impressed by that.
I'm gonna piggyback on what you're saying, and now the social media girl in me is gonna come out, right? So many times when I'm talking with clients or somebody that I'm coaching or I'm doing social media consulting with, they're like, I just don't know what to post, right?
Right.
They think that everything needs to be this perfect post. Yeah. And when I say, for example, there is somebody I'm working with in Seattle who just bought a spa, and it's in the process of really getting ready for its launch, right? And they're like, I don't really know what to post. I'm like, show behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, I'd be like getting ready for the spa, like exactly.
Get ready, show them, connect with them that way, right? Build that excitement. And it's the same thing for businesses if you're not in a launch, right?
Yeah.
Show them what you're really doing. Let them really connect with you. People want to connect with the brand.
They do.
And the people behind the brand, I should say, right?
Extending Grace and Hubbard, they did a really good job of this. They did a lot of like online, like sort of online sales or auctions, and they would do like Facebook Lives, but they also did these things. They put up like a little shop, and you could bid on stuff or order stuff. I actually got like 5 creamers. I don't even drink coffee, but they're so cute, and I loved how they did it. That I was like, I'm buying these. I'll put flowers in them. I'll give them away. But and they were very good. That was another like being creative in how they connected to their people, and just not losing that personal touch.
Right. So I'm going to give one piece of advice, and then I'll ask you, so not putting you on the spot, to give one piece of advice.
That's okay.
But for any small business out there, if you're really just stuck and you're not sure, what to do, or, what do your customers want? How can you change things up? What is, will this work or will that work? Ask your customers. Go to your best customers and just ask, what can I do? Like, what opinions do you have? How could I serve you better? Ask them. Like, your customers have the best ideas, and they will tell you. They will absolutely tell you, what they'd like. And so use them as a resource. I mean,
they're in the trenches. They're in the trenches. They know they're
right there. They want to buy from you. Your best customers want to buy. So they're going to have some ideas of things that might make it easier, things they're looking for to help you. So if you are stuck on all of the different strategies that we just listed, like what you can do and how you can implement it in your business, ask your customers what they're looking for.
Absolutely. And I'd like to also put out there, talking about collaboration. I actually have a little prop. We actually have a group of foundations and businesses that came together and helped us put together these PPE packs for small businesses. Any business, restaurant, daycare, church, under 50 employees. We actually, we have Community Foundation, Fuel Regional Health Foundation, CareerLink, West Central Job Partnership, Serve Pro, Community Action Partners, trying to make sure I have everything in there. And they put together this pack, has wipes, includes wipes. I'm trying to show wipes.
Yeah. Talk about collaboration.
Right. We have these Mazars Family Charitable Fund too. And so we have 20 non-surgical masks, 5 cloth masks.
Oh my God.
And then antibacterial gel. And it's actually and then all kind of really good information and coupons and stuff like that. And then it came from, we found a local company that was like selling bikes and other printing items, and they got some masks in like March, and he just opened up a whole line of medical care. So it's from Grove City. They joined the chamber, so we're actually able to support them, get the mask. And talk about innovating, from bike shop to now he's got Gear Medical Supplies from Gear Bike Shop. And I'm like, that's good for you. And now people will, having a local source after everything went tight there for a while.
Yeah. So, how do you get one of those bags if you're in Pennsylvania?
So all you have to do, if you're a small business in the Shenango Valley, and I'll say region because we've had some come over from Hubbard and stuff like that. You just pop into the chamber during office hours, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4, and we just need to take down what your business is because we want to give that for reporting purposes to the foundations, and you can have it. We've given away 65 at this point. We still have over 100. And they're free, and they're there to help, just a little way to help get some cleaning products and PPE items out in the community for our business to support our business community. So
awesome. I love it. I love it. Cris, thank you so much for coming on with me today and dealing with the little chaos.
Yeah, what it's like I said, it's 2020. What else is new? So, it just is what it is.
Well,
thank you so much. All right. Yeah. You're awesome. And thank you always with your good advice and all that. I know you've been helping a lot of our businesses up here behind the scenes. You don't talk about it, but I know what you're doing. I know. And we appreciate you so much, all your support here. We do.
Well, thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of great people out there in Shenango Valley. So I'm enjoying all of them. So
awesome.
Thank you so much. And I'll catch everybody later. So we'll see you. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you.